Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. In today's episode, we're going to do a deep dive into the importance of rewiring your brain and getting focused on whatever your dream is that you want to bring to life. And if you could take a moment and give us a like or follow, or even share your favorite episodes on your favorite social media, that helps us reach new audiences and inspire new people. So I just want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome
to the Bring Me to Life podcast.
It's time to wake up
and shine on.
Hello. Welcome to the Bring Me to Life podcast. How are you, Sila?
I'm doing fine. I am grateful to be here with you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Been really working on getting focused and learning how to rewire my brain and expand so that I can continue to bring all the things that I want to bring to life.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of things.
Yeah, I've just been reflecting on that. One of our friends recently told us that they feel like we're always doing so much and we're getting so many things done. But I know you and I both struggle with this idea that we're not ever doing enough, or that we have so much more we want to do all the time. And something that a lot of people do ask me is how I get so much done and how I stay so focused, which sometimes I find funny because I don't always feel like I'm focused. But I've been trying lately to really, like I said, rewire the brain, give myself some positive affirmations, some activities to stay focused so that I can actually reach the dreams and the hopes and the goals that I have, because I got some big dreams and I know you do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got a lot of things we'd like to accomplish, and I'm just hanging along for the ride. Life can be very hard sometimes when you're spending a lot of time and energy, getting food and paying the bills and all that,
adapting to the world around us.
Yeah, but it does feel like it just does feel like we do have big goals, and we have these dreams that we would like to accomplish, and we're at the point where we're both over 30 now, and seeing a lot of other people, maybe they had success early on, it can be hard. But then I also, in my mind, am remembering life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And also people who might find that success very early on, it maybe isn't as enjoyable later when they have that. But
I always wonder if they have their foundation really secure. Like when things happen for people overnight, I've noticed that sometimes they fizzle out quicker.
Yeah. I mean, if you have all of that and you're not ready for it, it can be very overwhelming. And you see a lot of child actors, they get in big movies and then all of a sudden they don't do it anymore, and they're already burnt out from it. A lot of the big actors.
Yeah, and
big kid actors.
I mean, I experience burnout frequently. I will have spurts of getting a lot of things done, and then I'll end up having to do a bunch of things for other people, and I'll find myself feeling burnout because I didn't have time for my own creative practices.
Yep.
And I will also be one of those people where if I have something to do at like 4 or 5 p.m., sometimes it's all I can think about, and I don't accomplish anything else in the earlier part of my day, which makes me feel like I'm wasting a lot of time. And time is really valuable to me because I'm somebody who just struggles with the mortality of life and thinking I need to rush through to experience things and to make sure I'm building this like legacy or this important experience that I want to leave in the world. Somebody I listen to that helps me rewire my brain a lot is Lisa Nichols.
Yeah.
And on one of her recent, there's a series of videos I watch. I've been really enjoying Mind Valley. It's inspiring because I know that we aspire to one day launch the Bring Me to Life Academy and things like that. And through Mind Valley, they have these experiences they call quests, which is cool. And Lisa Nichols recently, she shared that one of her practices with her coaching clients is to have them experience their death and to witness what that would be like to be at like your own funeral, which is just like mind blowing to me, because that's something that I've spent a lot of time at funerals, losing both my parents really young and everyone else in my reality. So I've often had that thought of like, what do I want people to experience when I'm not here? And there's times I really have to dive into rewiring my brain and inputting it with positive energy, positive outcomes, to break through the overwhelm and to break through, stress and fear and confidence issues and like all of these different things that can plug up our chakras and emotional centers. And I think it's really important to have these different practices. Are you familiar with neuroplasticity at all?
I would say I'm faintly aware of the term. I've listened to like Joe Dispenza, who might talk about it before. And from what I understand, it maybe is like a way that you can kind of rewire your brain. Is that?
Yeah, so it's like the expansion of our brain and how the brain structure and function can change and respond to new experiences or the learning or the practice of doing something. So, for example, when you are trying to teach yourself a new skill, such as playing a musical instrument or using a different medium in art, you are creating these different neural connections to strengthen it through practice. So some people, they do have this like inherent ability to just pick up an instrument and go. It's mind-blowing to me. Yeah. But it's probably because at a young age, they trained themselves with the neuroplasticity to believe that they can and to understand the key elements that you need to just be able to pick up any instrument. Or for me, like I can generally pick up most art supplies and figure something to do with them. It might not always be the prettiest, but like I don't limit myself. I just play. And I've trained my brain to just want to experience play with creativity. And I think that an understanding of this neuroplasticity is really important for people because it can really increase the cells that fire together in your mind and body to rewire itself to experience something different. So if you are someone who experiences stress just by, certain noises, you can start to rewire your brain. That's something I'm working on myself, because I know there's sometimes where you have a somatic release where you like to clap and you get like really excited. And for me, it like triggered a response because when I was younger and somebody wanted me to hurry, or if there was danger, people would clap at me to get me to rush. So I've been trying to reprogram my brain to respond differently to loud noises and experiences like that, so that I can stay in a calmer state and stay, in my creative flow. Because my studio happens to be by a main street, so I hear lots of sirens and things a lot. So I've had to like reprogram my brain to know that I'm safe. And I think that that's really important to anyone's mission to do bigger things in their life.
Yeah. Man, so it kind of sounds like when you just said like hearing loud noises on the street and kind of using that neuroplasticity to rewire that those loud noises aren't going to hurt you. Kind of reminds me of like training a cat, to not be afraid of, traffic, or to not be afraid of getting in the car or something.
Yeah, gotta kind of like Pavlov ourselves too, so that if we like hear certain noises, that it like triggers a different response, rather than like, I think in that experiment, and I don't know, I'm probably wrong, but something along the lines of like they heard a certain bell and they knew it was time for food. Yeah. So like our cats know when Sulo comes home from work to be ready for food. Like they have like a specific practice that they've installed in themselves. And like when you stretch, your cat lays with you and kind of stretches and stuff. So like they've trained themselves to different experiences by programming their brain. And we can do that as humans too. And there's these different practices to do that. So some different ways to do that is like through puzzles and brain activity. So some people do like physical puzzles. I think that's why they have a lot of those in like nursing homes and stuff too. It keeps your brain active.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Because then you're using critical thinking and, all that. And like, it's like a muscle, if you don't use it, and then, start to lose it. So And I worked at a retirement home for a long time, so we definitely had days for puzzles, and I really enjoyed them too, doing them.
Yeah, I was a part of a conference recently, and it was with a bunch of different communities for creative success. And they mixed up the cities because we all went with different communities, and they wanted us to interact with other community members from different parts of the state. And I thought it was really intriguing. They put all of us that are like really, like economically focused in these groups, and then they challenged us. There was like 6 groups, and there were different puzzles, and we had to sit down and focus on the puzzle, and whatever team, finished the puzzle first won.
Yeah.
But all of us were so used to being in business mindset that all of us were also like, I don't remember the last time I did like a puzzle like this. But the other thing they did was they kind of screwed with us because they put pieces of other groups' puzzles in our puzzle. And we had to think logically, like, these pieces don't look like the puzzle in the picture they gave us. What does this mean? So we had to flip them all over, and I realized that they had different numbers on the back, and those different numbers correlated with the other team. So we had to collect the different pieces and then go find the team and exchange pieces, or we would have never finished the puzzle. So it inspired us to create different kinds of teamwork. So it showed us to go to different communities to get the resources we need to come back, which programmed my brain to realize now when you're putting the puzzle pieces of life together, you might not have the right pieces, and you need to collaborate and communicate with other people in your area to really build something and to get the full picture. So that was just a really cool team building exercise that I recently experienced that I thought I should share, but also like memory games and just like learning new skills like communication and collaboration, and even learning new languages is a beautiful way to like rewire your brain, because you are seeing something from a different perspective, and you may not realize that the way we say something and our slang and our way of processing something is much different than a lot of other cultures and societies. So like understanding their language and how they say they, create or they eat or so-and-so does something, like they say it in a different mindset. So it's reacting a different programming in the brain.
Maybe that's why traveling is so opening to your mind. And because you're taking in all these new experiences, and each area, each culture has differences in them. And, so that would be wild to, go somewhere that you haven't been before. Like, if we went to Europe or something, and I'm sure everything there is slightly different. And the restaurants and all that are I'm sure different. So maybe like when they refer to culture shock, they're referring to the neuroplasticity is like
your brain's
taking over.
Like, whoa, and it's expanding. And I love seeing people of all age travel, but I really love seeing like the older generations travel because it keeps them young. Like I have this great aunt and uncle, and their favorite thing to do is just travel all over the world. And they're so inspiring to me because they're always coming back from like Mexico or Australia or somewhere random. And they've just been like on these wild, crazy trips. And I am kind of sad because my one aunt is starting to deal with some memory issues, but her playfulness and her like motor skills are still there because she's like constantly on the go, and her husband keeps her active, and they're very playful and kind of like I want to say tough on each other, but they do it in like a sassy old people way.
They're a funny couple. Yeah. They definitely don't seem, they don't seem old. So, and they move around really well. So,
and they're like in their 80s.
Yeah.
Traveling the world, just like loving it.
That's why I would say mind over matter. Literally, if you are just every day thinking, oh, I'm so old. Oh, I'm so old. Oh, my body is not good. Like, thinking that every day, obviously that's going to bring that about. So if you can, focus as you get older and older, like it might be a little bit harder to, stretch and everything, but I can still do it. And, you do it every day, a little bit every day, really goes a long way.
Yeah, and the media that we're putting into our bodies while we're doing these different things too, I think is important. So like, yes, getting physical exercise, yes, all of that also like improves the blood flow and helps the brain activity and neuroplasticity. But the media that we intake, the music that we listen to, the shows we watch, the podcasts we listen to, but from experience watching me try to watch certain action movies is like literally painful to watch. Like my body tenses up. It's like I'm really into the story and I want to know what's happening, but like there's something in my brain that starts to like instill fear. And like when there's lots of gunshots and like fighting and stuff, I'm like, ooh, this is rough. But then I also love movies like Avatar and stuff where they're like experiencing that, but it expands my mind to see different ways to deal with those kinds of experiences. But there's certain music I listen to. So in my body, if I wake up and my body is in a lot of pain, I have a playlist that I listen to, and there's songs on there about like my body's healed, my body's healthy. There's a song called Good Morning that like helps me, reprogram and try to step into a better day rather than focusing on certain things. So I think that's been really helpful. And also just like another way to reprogram your brain is to make sure you're getting proper sleep. And that's something I also really struggle with is proper sleep, making sure you have a balanced diet and releasing stress.
I feel like not too long ago, it was you or somebody. And it was like, I was telling them I had to go to bed early because I had to wake up. I got to wake up at 6. I'm trying to go to bed, between 10 and 11. I do best when I have like 6.5 to 8 hours of being able to relax and sleep. And if I don't get that, like I'm not as happy with life. And somebody was like, you really need that long to sleep? Like I can be fine with like 5 hours. I'm like, well, that's cool for you, but I'm different.
I think everybody is different. I don't know that I require as much sleep. I like to sleep until a certain time. I've noticed like I could go to sleep at 3 or 4 a.m., but I always like to wake up between 10 and 11. So it's like I have a certain different kind of schedule, but whatever your sleep situation is, it's important. And you can reprogram your brain during sleep. So like I've said in other podcasts, I have certain meditations I listen to when I sleep. They help keep my mind at ease and release stress, because stress and trauma, chronic stress can negatively affect your neuroplasticity, and it can keep you from, the ability to see clearly and to reprogram your brain. And it can also keep you from recovering from different physical situations. So like neuroplasticity can help you heal from situations as well, like engaging yourself in activities that help incorporate a healthy lifestyle for you. So I think all of those things are really important to keep in mind. And it's something that I'm speaking into existence because I want to be more mindful of it and to, incorporate more brain training exercises and physical exercise, proper sleep, proper diet. In a different podcast, I mentioned how it really helps my brain focus if I don't have to worry about where my next meal's coming from or what it's going to be. If it's just like already in motion or meal prepped or something like that, it helps my brain kind of focus on other activities and to meditate clearer and stuff like that. Are there any different ways that you feel like you expand your brain activity in your mental health when you're rewiring your brain?
The Mind Valley exercises have been really helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like you're about to say something. So that's not what I was going to say.
Sorry, I just started reflecting on our date day and how we listened to Mind Valley inspiring messages and things while we did a neurographic art practice together. So that was cool.
It was really cool. Very enjoyable. Painting and creating art is wonderful. I'd say creating in general is very helpful for brain and being able to rewire it and reprogram it. I created a meditation CD a while ago, and it was True Abundance. And it, and I kind of allowed people in that CD to define what abundance meant to them. But we did a few meditations to kind of deprogram the brain, and using a visualization technique of having people go through this labyrinth, and along their way through the labyrinth, little versions of themselves would pop up, and each version of themselves would be a program or a belief system or, one of those synapses that they wanted to let go of. And then come back with another meditation that was, okay, now that you let those go, you have a room in your brain that is focus on, creating the thoughts and the patterns that will bring about whatever abundance you defined for yourself. So meditation is incredible for that, I believe. Yeah, like you said, the media that you take in is really powerful. And yeah, all of that.
You shared your true abundance, and it reminded me that on my website, I have this freebie. I think it's under free things, or you can just message me and I'll send it to you. But it was created a few years ago, so it's a little older, but it's called five shifts for transformation or something like that. And it's like a 5-video series. And I have a video that you helped me create where I'm walking the labyrinth, and it's got some sound healing as like one of my very first drums. It's like baby Shannon. It's hilarious to watch, but it's real cute. I'm doing like the ego eradicator, and we're reprogramming our brain. And sometimes when I feel like I've lost my focus or my path or my inspiration, I'll go back and I'll watch those videos from my younger self and remember, what it is I stand for and how far my brain has, grown and rewired since then. And it's wild sometimes how empowered our younger selves speak to our future selves, especially because like as we grow and as we learn, sometimes our confidence shifts. I think we realize we don't know everything.
But when we were younger, we spoke like we did.
But we spoke like it. And I feel like I needed to speak it into existence so that I can look back as my more aged self and realize that that's always the path that I've wanted to be on and that I'm going to continue to be on, because part of my programming is I want to be who I needed when I was younger. So I want to be able to continue to stay on that mission and to set the goals and to track the progress and to be able to give myself positive self-talk and reframe negative thoughts, because it is easy to be hard on ourselves and to think we're not doing enough or we're not accomplished enough or we're not where we wanted to be by now. And like, I think 5-year plans are both like super helpful, but also super discouraging at times because things don't always go as planned. And we can be hard on ourselves if we're not where we thought we wanted to be, but life will put us on the path to learn what it is that we need to become that. So like it might be longer than 5 years. And since COVID happened, I've noticed that a lot of different programming that I'm a part of, they've changed the 5-year plan to a 3-year plan because the world changes so fast that sometimes we can only focus in like 3 month or 3-year intervals. There's something about the number 3 that really helps people. So setting 3 goals, working in 3-week time brackets, 3-month time brackets, and like allowing yourself to change and to keep finding different routines and habits to inspire yourself, like different content and media. Before we were talking about some different role models and things that have inspired you and kept you on your path. Do you want to talk about those for a minute?
When did we talk about that?
It might have been before we hit record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did mention Joe Dispenza for like a brief second at the beginning of this podcast. But Joe Dispenza is huge for this neuroplasticity type of content. He does a lot of meditations, but he does it with a scientific mind. He does a lot of experiments and all kinds of things to find out how the brain works and ways that we can shift that and heal. He does a lot of healing meditations. He does a lot of workshops and talks a lot about having events where people would come, been dealing with a health problem that they haven't been able to heal from for very, very long. And when they go in with their meditations and all things they have, they're able to, acknowledge it in a way that they haven't been able to before and begin to really, truly heal from whatever they might be experiencing. So I'd say Joe Dispenza, there's a lot of people, but he comes to mind in this kind of focused topic.
Yeah, I feel like a few others, just to throw them out there, is like Louise Hay and Dolores Cannon.
Wayne Dyer.
Gabby Bernstein talks about it a little bit. So does Lisa Nichols. The whole Mind Valley platform is kind of based off of reprogramming your brain and like quantum healing and that experience. A more funny off the cut one is Jessa Reed is pretty hilarious, and she's always talking about it. So is the guy Noah Lambert from Synchronicity. They're a little bit more wild. They talk about like aliens and psychedelics and all kinds of stuff as well, and that's how they reprogram their brain. But everybody has, a different path, but they're intriguing to listen to, and all have different practices that they work with. So yeah, I feel like this is a really important topic, and I could probably keep talking about it for a while, but mainly like allow yourself to explore, allow yourself to play, and to remind yourself that you have more time, and you'll create more time in your day and in your life experience to do all the things you want. And every 10 minutes counts. So if you can focus on whatever your dream is that you're trying to bring to life for even 10 minutes a day, I think that's super powerful to rewiring your brain for success.
Yeah. Actually, Wayne Dyer has a talk, an audiobook. He has a book and an audiobook called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. So I think a very good book to look into based on this kind of information we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's a good recommendation. Is there anything else in your mind? I know I talk a lot. Sorry. This was one I was really excited about.
Yeah, sometimes I just set up the equipment and let Shannon go for it.
I just need, someone to witness me in my channeling of whatever wants to come out some days.
Yep. She's come a long way. Shannon's come a long way since the first few episodes of her podcast, where she definitely did not want to be a co-host, but now loves it.
Yeah, so much so that I've created several other spin-offs, like the We Are Artists podcast.
Another way that you use neuroplasticity to shift your experience with being a person who does podcasts.
I had to find ways to get excited about it, and I realized that the more we share our story, the more we inspire others to share their story and to reprogram themselves to chase their dreams.
Yeah. And that's a great thing. So grateful to be here with you, Shannon, doing this podcast. Grateful for everybody who is listening or maybe watching on YouTube. And any final thoughts?
Not if you don't want me to keep rambling.
No. Yeah, thank you, everybody. We love and appreciate you, and please stay awake.
Shine on always. Bye.